Today I'd like to talk to you about embedded nut inserts. You may be asking yourself, what are they? Well, if you ever bought plastic products and they've got a proper thread in them to pull them apart, that type of thing, rather than the self-tapper in the plastic, you would have noticed there's a little brass thread in there, and you might say, how do they get that there? Well, when they do the injection moulding, they actually put those threaded inserts into the mould, inject the plastic, and it goes over it. But we can take that technology and use it for our 3D printing and also out in the workshop. I purchased some brass embedded nut inserts just for that job. They come in a variety of sizes. This particular one here I've got is M3, this other one is M6, but they come from small as 1.4, that's right, 1.4, M 1.4 up to M6. They may be larger, but that's the ones I've found. But they come in a variety of lengths. This one is 10. I got that because I'll be cutting these in half. And they also come in thickness, diameter, or how beefy the thread is. This is a 4mm one across the spines. You can get a 5mm one which is thicker. How can we use them? Well, normally when I do a thread, when I 3D print, I make it the tapping size hole for that thread. So metric is the pitch, so if it's a 1mm pitch, the hole is 1mm smaller. So I then put the hole in, because if you don't and you drill into the 3D printer, you're just into the body of it, which is just a thin mesh. If you have a hole, it's the thickness of the wall, so I have 3 wall, so my hole is nice and tight to take the thread. If you're removing the thread constantly, if you just got a cover, put it on once and it's done, that's fine. But if you've got to unscrew it, make an adjustment, do something backwards and forwards, they soon wear out, or you want to tighten them down fairly tightly. They soon start to strip, that type of thing. You can use one of these. If you should have watched my other videos on the Cosol 3D printer, and in there I show you various techniques for making the nuts fit. And basically what you do, you drill a hole size you want, or 3D print the size of the hole you want. Place the, I would recommend the smallest diameter, the undercut. You just get your soldering iron, warm it up, place the item to be inserted, the nut, heat it up, and as it warms up, push it down, plastic will flow. Then get your screw, I normally use a longer one, put it in, and you can check, see if it's in the correct position. I like to make a plate and screw it up to the plate, or the mounting part. Also, when you give it a slight twist while it's there, the liquid plastic will go around the undercut, and so that helps pull it out, and the spline help from it rotating. So it's great for inserts in plastic. This is the camera rig I use normally to do my demos. I use a 6S or a GoPro, or now I've got a 7S, and I made up this universal adapter, and it's got tapped holes in the bottom. The threads on the tripods are 1/4 inch 20 TPI. So as I fit this on and off different rigs, and you have to tighten it up, you are applying a lot of pressure on that 3D printed part. So I just plan to insert these, even though it's smaller, then when it's in, tap it out 1/4. So that's for strong reinforcement there. So that's one use for it. There's another use for it. And the reason why I'm cutting it in half, got the longer ones, is that if you want to insert it, say in wood, you cannot melt the wood. You could glue it in, but if you drill a hole from the back and you got access, without the top spline, and you just drill it perhaps slightly tight on the smaller diameter. You can then just push it in from the bottom, then the screw will pull the splines up and stop it from rotating. You can tap wood. I've tapped this oak M4, so you can tap wood quite successfully. However, constant use, pulling, pushing, that type of thing will soon ruin it. Now, another also use is that on the 3D printer I'm building, it's got a LCD panel and it's got two panels and they're soldered on one end but they're loose and they've got a hole to go through, put your screws. You can actually just buy these inserts and solder them on to a PCB, a Vero board, circuit board, and then instead of having to drill a hole in there, make sure you've got no components on the other side, make sure there's room for the nut, make sure you can actually get in to tighten the nut to stop it from turning. All those sort of things can be easily eliminated by just soldering one of these insert nuts on there. I'm going to use it as a spacer and the nut because I want the LCD to be a certain distance. There's buttons and all that. I can cut it in half, solder it on, and then I can just file this flat, and that will be my spacer to work out the distance so it all sits nice and flat. And if you wanted to put a M6 thread on, it's no problem. If you wanted to make a PCB that fits on a tripod, that's how you would do it. I bought a pack of 20 of the M3s for $2.50 odd, and 10 of the M6 for about $2.50. They're between 10 and 20 cents each. As always, there will be the QR code at the end. You just take a photo with your smart camera at the very end, just pause it, and it will list the suppliers and part numbers and all that sort of stuff. Any videos I've mentioned. So if you found this useful or it may be of interest to your friends, let them know. If not, let me know and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.